My name is Emily Chilton, and I live in the Lake Tahoe area, just south of Reno, 20 minutes out of Lake Tahoe, a little valley. Well, I think that I was a little bit in la la land. I think that having a baby was, I always babysat. I loved babysitting, and I think I thought that we would just have a baby and it would just be all butterflies and happy giggles, which it is sometimes. We were living in DC, and all of my friends there had at least one, and they were all in school. And my husband was working, and we didn't have any, and I think I felt really left out. So I felt like we gotta have a baby, and thankfully we got confirmation that it was supposed to be, and we did get pregnant right away, like within a month. Our little boy was very, very sick his first few weeks of life, and then I think it was very shocking that, like, oh, this is real. Like, you're taking care of another human. This isn't just a doll. When he got sick, he was born a little early, but he was still big, but he had a hard time eating. He got jaundice. He got hypothermia. I was kind of like this mother bear. Like, I just put on this armor, and I didn't cry. I didn't fret. I didn't worry. He was hospitalized 2 times. The first time was the jaundice, hypothermia, and dehydration. And then he got better, but then had something called pyloric stenosis, where it's a condition in the stomach where they can't eat anything. It doesn't digest. So he had to go in for emergency surgery pretty much overnight at 5 weeks. And I was trying to nurse. I hated nursing more than anything in the world. And because he would never latched, I was just pumping, and I couldn't give him what he needed. And once he had that surgery, and once I stopped trying to nurse, he just got so healthy. Now he's in the 98th percentile for height. So he's huge. So anyway, it was tough. It was hard. It was, but again, I think I had to go through that as a 22-year-old, because I was kind of in la la land. Like, oh, we're fine. We can trust the doctors, and we're good, and we're just gonna go. And I think now, if something like that happened, where I'm older and I understand a lot more with things and how fast things can change, I probably wouldn't have been, I don't know if I'd be as strong. I don't know, maybe in a different way. We got transferred to Aruba. It's an island in southern Caribbean, just right off of the coast of Venezuela. Jude, our older one, was about 18 months, and we decided we wanted to try for another one. I felt a little bit ready. And again, la la land, feeling like we got pregnant the first month with him. Like, let's just do it. It's going to happen so fast, and we're going to have this month apart and everything. And month after month, it just didn't happen. We tried for about a year without anything. And then in Aruba, we started seeing a fertility specialist, and he did a surgery down there in the hospital. It's like something out of a horror film. Like, you drive by, and it says hospital with 2 A's, and the whole thing's just like run down. And at the time, I'm like, I'm having a baby. Like, I'm getting pregnant. You're in this mind frame of, like, I need a baby now. Like, I can't even explain it. But, so I did. I had this surgery, came out of surgery. A couple weeks later, he had me in, and he said, yeah, you have endometriosis. And I said, okay, great. Did you remove it? And he said, well, no, because we don't have the laser that I need on the island to remove it. It was just a diagnostic surgery. And I'm like laying in this hospital, like, feeling like it's something from a horror movie, like all these beds next to each other. Like, my husband was working out all alone. It was a little insane. I think the first couple of years of infertility, I cried a lot. I was very emotional. I put my heart out there every month. I was very emotional. And we're living in Aruba, where it's 1,000 degrees, and I'm having hot flashes from all the hormones, and not in my element. I did not love it there. And so I think I put up a wall. I put up a huge wall. So then we actually got transferred to Tahoe, started seeing a specialist there. We did, long story short, I mean, after so many different things and months of fertility drugs and everything, we ended up doing 4 rounds of IUI, that's intrauterine insemination. And then we took a break. We took little breaks in between, financially and just emotionally. We were approached by someone who had a friend that was pregnant and was wanting to place their child. She knew we had been through infertility. At this point, it had been 3 years of trying. And so we're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it. So we hurried, and she was due within 4 weeks. So we hurried and went through the process. You have to get a home study. You have to get background checks. The home study includes background checks, fingerprinting. They come 4 different times to your home and look at all of your home and everything. You do different interviews, and it usually takes, some people take it in stride and take it for a year, but we were able to get it done in a few weeks. So anyway, she had the baby. We went to the hospital. We were there. And she didn't have anything, nothing. So because our paperwork wasn't finished, because she had the baby early, she decided to take the baby home. And because she didn't have anything, we went and took her baby clothes. I went and got bottles, stuff for her, formula, food. We let them use our pack and play crib. I took everything up to this very little home, and it took us a few weeks to get our paperwork finished, and at that point they stopped all communication with us. They just stopped talking to us. And we had been visiting every day, holding the baby, and then we just kind of said, well, is this it? Like we need our stuff back. You know, like we had car seats, everything. We gave him everything. So I didn't go. My husband went, Craig, and he went and got our crib and the baby clothes. He left most of the stuff. He left most everything, just some of the stuff we wanted. I didn't let myself connect there. I didn't let myself, because I know now. I've known all of the risks and what could happen through the processes, so I think I just put a wall up. It almost hurt worse because I knew how my husband felt. He had to go, he had to pick up all of the stuff, and he had to bring it home. And so my heart was more hurting for him. I think that I have such a strong hope and faith that we would know when it was right. Adoption's so tricky because you want it to feel really right, but like, how do you really know? And you think that, how am I gonna know? Like, that's so weird. How are you really gonna know? But I think I held on to that hope. So I think I felt like I put up a wall and I kind of trudged forward. And I think I was so determined. I was like, we're getting a baby. I don't know how we're getting the baby, but we're getting a baby. And I was a little crazy at times. If I saw pregnant women, like seriously, I would I wonder if they're keeping that baby. I was very crazy. I turned into psycho. But from what I've heard from other people that deal with infertility, a lot of people say the same thing, is that you turn into a crazy lady trying to just get a baby. Like, you're going to steal, I would steal, like, I felt like I'm going to steal a baby. Like, I'm going to be on the 5 o'clock news because I'm going to steal a baby. Like, it really got to the point where my husband was like, you need to calm down a little bit. But I wasn't emotional. I was just gung-ho. I'm going to do this. We were in the system, and we're there. And what you do is you get a little book, and you make, it's like a Shutterfly book, and you can have 25 pages, and you have to just sell yourself. Emotionally, that was the hardest part for me with adoption, is feeling like you're like, pick me, you know, handing this book of your family. You've got my little boy in there, and our life, and I think we're great. Like, I think we're fantastic, and I love our family, and feeling like we're going to get picked right away. Like, everyone's going to love us. Like, look, I had all the cousins in there, and I had all our adventures, and we ended up going through 8 more adoption situations. So we went through, you know, one with twins. We went through a little Hispanic little boy, a Filipino little girl, an African American little girl, and we just were never chosen. And we'd get to a point where they'd say, okay, it's between you and one other family, and then you just feel like, it's like you don't feel human anymore. Then we were done. We were like, we're good. We love our family. We're good with going camping and hiking, and our little boy's going to be in kindergarten. So let's just love where we're at. Financially, we didn't feel, the next step fertility-wise was to do IVF. And sitting there talking to the doctor about IVF, we did not feel it at all. It's like, we can't, it just didn't feel right. And I don't know why. Adoption's 4 times as much as a round of IVF. I don't know why that felt better. And so we were praying for a situation in which maybe we could get a birth mom that had already had the baby or was really close, so it could just be a quick Band-Aid. If she changed her mind, then we're done. If we didn't have to follow the whole thing. So we had this situation. The eighth baby was a little African-American little girl. And for some reason we had the strong impression to send out a prayer chain to the whole family on a text. To everyone, all our cousins, everyone. I said, we're just praying for this baby because I want her really bad. And I said, this was on April 19th, or April 18th. So on April 18th last year. And we sent out this whole thing. Everyone's praying. Everyone's like really getting into it. And we found out the morning of, maybe that was April 19th. Found out the next morning that we were not chosen. We were just done. We were so done. Felt like we'd been just in a boxing ring for years. At this point, it had been almost 4 years that had been trying. So, we got a call the morning of April 21st. The baby was born last night in Las Vegas. Are you interested? They said, we don't know anything about him. We know it's a boy. We don't know anything about his race, about his health, about prenatal care, nothing. Are you interested? We need to know right now. And we were like, yeah, sure, we're interested, because then you're interested, then they give the birth mom your book. Then she decides. So you say you're interested, there's usually 5 or 6 other families. Then we don't hear anything for a couple of days. My husband went to run the Ragnar in southern Utah, and he's with family, so I'm by myself. I decided to stay with a friend and had a really amazing kind of spiritual experience that night. And I got an email at like 10:30 at night from an agent that said, hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm working with birth mom down in Vegas. And congratulations, you've been chosen. And I'm at my friend's house. My husband's gone, and I just lost it. I was just like uncontrollably sobbing. So she was so excited to tell you that she just couldn't wait. And apparently they had gotten our book, and they just knew. From the instant they saw our book, they opened it, and her and her parents were in the hospital and just knew. And they thought it was too good to be true. So she requested more profiles because she wanted to see more. She's like, how can you just pick the first one? And now that we see, we both, all parties realize why we were supposed to be connected, because we just love each other so much. But baby was a big surprise. She said she didn't know she was pregnant the whole time. No prenatal care. Said she went in and said she had some back pain. Doctor said, you're pregnant. Had him 6 days later. Had him, went back to school 2 days after that. High school. And he went to Cradle Home, and we went and picked him up. So then there was a little sketchiness because he is Native American, so they have to get approval from the tribe to do the adoption. He's only 1/32nd, and we had to go through all this legal stuff. And because of that, our judge ordered that our birth mom, instead of, usually they sign their paperwork, the state of Nevada, they sign at 72 hours, they sign their parental rights. Our judge decided to give her an extra 6 months to change her mind. The emotions were weird because I knew we had 6 months that things could change. My husband, it took him hours to connect and say, he's mine, this is my baby. It took me a while. It took me a while. I don't know exactly the time frame. I think it was slow. It took me a while to call myself mom to him. He felt like this little stranger in my home. But it was actually my father-in-law, who is very quiet and doesn't say much. But he said to me, this baby needs to be loved. And he needs, regardless of what happens in the next few months, he needs you now. And he needs someone to bond with him and to hold him and to smell him and to not just feed him and burp him, but to bond with him. Regardless of what happens, every human needs, those first few months are so crucial. But that was my moment of like, okay, it doesn't matter. He's going to have a part of me forever, regardless of what happens. So I put my own insecurities aside, and I just forced myself to say, Mommy, this is Mommy, and you're my baby. And every call we got, every text, every time they'd want to visit, I felt like we were at their mercy. They never were like that though. They were they never pressured us. They always reassured us that they were so happy, and she was so happy with this decision. But still, you're human. You think any moment it could change. And I think up into the last seconds with, oh, the tribe can maybe take the baby, and if the tribe tries to take the baby, then our birth mom's going to parent. She's not going to let the tribe take the baby. She'll parent. And then I'm like, well, what's going to happen to Jude? Like, he's bonded, and that would kill him. Like, that was what was ripping my heart out, obviously, among everything else. I did have a moment during our month at the end that was extended an extra month with the second court stuff. I had like an overwhelming feeling that I needed to develop a form of trust with our birth mom that I didn't have before. Like, have her over and be myself and let my guard down. I'm silly, I'm crazy, I'm loud. Just let that guard down and find a way to just trust with, like, give her my heart. Trust completely. From a mother to a mother, birth mom to a whatever, biological mom to a spiritual, we feel like his spirit's supposed to be with us, mother to mother connection. And I think that's, I know that's why I had to go through that extra month. And once I came to that, the next week we were finalized. We were done. It was over. And it was very anticlimactic. It just happened. We took some pictures, and we went to a Dairy Queen, and I laid down on the bench with my ice cream and breathed for the first time in years. And I think that was like I don't know, it just felt so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's always been meant to be, and we've always had that confirmation, and I wish I would have trusted in it a little more. And my husband, his one moment of like, we're complete, he came in just crying. He does not cry. And he said that he shut the one door to Jude's room, and then he shut Noah's door, and he just was like, we made it, we're home. I've always kind of been a class clown, and I've always loved to make people laugh. Like, I always say that my favorite thing about my marriage is trying to make my husband laugh. Because it's like my favorite thing ever. So I guess I would hope to be remembered just as being positive and happy. I don't want, there was a time during the infertility that I was a Debbie Downer. And I was emotional, and I was depressed, and I felt yucky, and I felt all of those things. And that's when I got certified to be a high fitness trainer. That's not a plug. Because I knew it would bring me up physically. I think I needed that physical exercise, that physical thing in the morning to just give me that boost. And I love that because I'm able to inspire other people in my classes. I'm able to inspire my students with piano. I think I just want to leave a legacy of that, of just being a positive force, someone that likes to have fun, that is happy, enjoying in the moment, because it goes really fast, and I know people say that all the time, and I don't feel like that right now, but I know that I'll look back and know that it did go by really fast, and wanting people to remember me as being positive, but real. Life isn't always positive and happy, but at least try and spread a little bit of goodness and happiness and make people feel good.